Hi everyone, welcome back to This Book Belongs to Pam. In today's video, we are going to be reading for 24 hours. I have done this only once before and I actually did quite well, so I'm going to link that video below. And yeah, it's super simple. I'm just gonna read for 24 hours. It is currently 3:36 in the afternoon. I think I'm gonna start reading at 4. Let me just drink water because I actually filmed a video before this and I'm very thirsty. Okay, I'm gonna take a break and then I'll start the readathon. Actually, I think I'll start it at 5. I want to read Legendary first, and that's not really part of this TBR. So I think I'm going to start at 5 p.m. and end at 5 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you when I start the 24 hours. I have decided to start with Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, mostly because I've already started this before. I'm at page 90 of like 240. It's a graphic novel, so it should be like a quick read that I can finish in one sitting, and I want that quick win so that I can feel super motivated and encouraged to go through this reading for 24 hours challenge. So yeah, that is the goal. I am staring at my clock right now. It's 4:59. 5 p.m. Okay, there we go. You saw it change. So it's 5 p.m. Let's get this book started. I'm not getting up from this spot until I finish Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Actually, I haven't told you what this is about. So this is a science fiction about a black woman who is suddenly, mysteriously transported, back to pre-Civil War US, South US. So there's a lot of talk about slavery, about the lives of black people then when they were still enslaved by white people. And she is sort of time traveling back and forth, but she doesn't have any control over it. So obviously, as a free woman in 1970s America, it's very dangerous for her to time travel back to pre-Civil War US, where black people were slaves, and especially because she's also a woman, which has its own layer of complexity and nuance. And yeah, there's just a lot of discussion on slavery, on what freedom means, and there's also this relationship between the white family that she, I guess, travels back to, because I believe that they're the ancestors of Dana, the girl, the woman who is time travel. I'm not explaining this well, but yeah. The actual book, because this one's the graphic novel edition, but the actual book is actually like one of the required reading for feminist science fiction book. So I am very intrigued by it, and I think it's gonna be an amazing book. Very heartbreaking for sure, and very thought-provoking, but I know it's gonna be a good one. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading now, and I'll check back in maybe once I finish the book. Okay, so I just want to stop and talk a little about this book, this graphic novel. So I'm currently at page 134, which is about 55% of the book, and it is very interesting, the topics that are being talked about. When Dana travels back in time, she is always sent to this same house with the same people. So she kind of gets bits and pieces of those people's history, which is also her history because she is actually related to them. But it's interesting because she is somehow connected to this white person, the son of the owner of the plantation, and because she has interacted with this person, Rufus, ever since Rufus was a kid and now Rufus is like a young adult, she was able to influence Rufus a little bit, and they're kind of like friends, if you will. Not really friends, but they have this certain level of understanding. So Rufus doesn't really treat her like white people would treat like a black person during this time. Dana poses a lot of interesting questions for Rufus. So one thing that I just read right now, in the part where I am right now, she's asking Rufus if he would ever sell anyone, a slave. And Rufus says that no, he doesn't think he will, but he honestly doesn't know because of the time period that he is in. It's really hard for people to rebel. It's not like something that you could just do, rebel against the status quo. And yeah, so even though Rufus kind of has this deeper, different understanding of the dynamics between white and black and owner and slave, master and slave, even though he kind of knows that what's happening is not really right, he doesn't just outright says that, he's gonna stop doing it, because it's his way of life. It's everyone's way of life. So who is he to, not do it the way everyone does it? So that's kind of an interesting that still happens up to now. It happens up to now for a multitude of different controversial things. And yeah, that's just something to think about. And this is a very heavy book. I don't know if it's a good idea that I started with this, but yeah, I'm already here. I'm gonna finish it and I'm gonna power through. It is a lot darker now. It is now 6 p.m. and I actually have to hop on the reading sprint call with Pam. We're meeting a little bit early because we have some things to talk about for future plans. So I'm gonna go to my the office right now and hop onto that live stream. I just finished my first book for the 24-hour readathon. It is now 6:54, so it took me about 2 hours. Finished Kindred, and as I expected, it was very heartbreaking. There are a lot of things that really makes you think about their history, about everything that they've been through, and the very complicated topic of slavery. And I just think that, yeah, it is a very quick read, and I highly recommend you read it. It is very difficult to read. There's a lot of topics on, torture, on slavery, and just this whole struggle. Does such a great job of just, even the drawing style just really puts you into that setting, into that mindset. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to my next book, which is actually Dekada 70, but I'm gonna wait for us to start the sprint so I can restart this one. And yeah, one book done for my 24-hour readathon. Hi everyone, so I have started the new book, which is Dekada 70 by Hattie Bautista. I am starting it all over from the beginning, so I know that I've already read 20 pages of it, but it's not really that much because I think there's a lot of introduction and stuff. And yeah, so I'm gonna start reading this, and my goal is to hopefully at least get to 70% of it through the sprints, because this is 2 hours of reading time. So yeah, I'm started it now. I just finished reading sprints with Pam. I literally just got off the live stream studio just now, and it was a very productive sprint. I made it up to page 111 of Dekada 70, and it was a lot more than I thought I could read, but it started getting easier and easier for me to read as I progress through the pages, and it is making me so angry. If you're not familiar with this book, we are following Amanda Bartolome. She's a wife and a mother to 5 boys, and we're just following her as she takes care of his boys during a very tumultuous period in Philippine history, which is the martial law era. So at that time, there were several rallies, several movements, because the government is, it's martial law. The thing that really grips me with this book is that Amanda is I would say, a very typical person in a way that she kind of knows that there are some things happening. She's not really actively seeking out answers. She's not asking too many questions. She just thinks, okay, this doesn't affect me as much, so I'm not gonna question it. It doesn't make my life harder, so why would I be affected by something that doesn't, have any consequence to me? And that is a very typical thinking of people who are not even well off, people who are like in the middle class. That's very typical middle class thinking, that you're making enough to get by, you have some luxuries in life, so you're not really affected by all of this talk about farmers, this talk about oil, taxes, like very big concepts and very like granular concept that doesn't really affect, the middle class. But then, because of one way or another, of course, her children get exposed to this in university and their social groups. And because she's seeing all of the changes that her children are going through, she starts to sort of ask questions herself. She never thought that she could ask questions because she is a woman. And typically in this time period, and even now, I suppose, women were just seen as housewives. They shouldn't be working because they're not the man of the family. They shouldn't have, thoughts and ideas about this very big concepts about, the society, about the government, because they're just there to serve their husband, to take care of their children and the house that they live in. Nothing more, nothing less. And she started to think, why are we just relegated to those tasks? Why can't I pursue something that I want to pursue? Why can't I work to have that sense of accomplishment? Why can't I tell you when I want to have sex? Why do I have to always wait for you to want to have sex? Hits very close to home, because the way that Amanda thinks is the way that a lot of people even now thinks. A lot of people are very indifferent to issues that doesn't affect them. A lot of people just kind of accept the status quo because it's not hurting them. They still have food on the table, they have their own luxuries in life, so they're not affected by it. So why would they rise up in arms? Why would they oppose the government? Blah 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 blah. Especially because some of the issues are so big that it's really hard to see how it's gonna connect to you as a person. So yeah, it's just a very, very pointed novel, and I really like how it's written. It's very conversational. At first, you have to get used to the language, probably because I'm not used to reading Tagalog, but as you read it, it becomes easier and easier. And I even started writing on the book because I just felt so much. Like, I don't write on my books, but I am writing on this one. And there's just things here that just hit very close to home. It's really good. It's really, really good. Now I have to walk my dogs. It's 10:49 p.m. Be right back after I walk my dogs. Why is such a big baby?
We were out of line, out of our minds. We couldn't fantasize about nothing more.
Hi everyone, I know that this lighting is kind of scary, but I just wanted to do an update before I, lie down and just try to sleep. But I made it to page 145, which is the 21st chapter. of Dekada 70, and I think I only have about 60 or maybe 70 pages left, so I might actually try and just read it all tonight so that I can start with a new book when I wake up tomorrow. See you tomorrow, bright and early, hopefully. Fingers crossed I get up early.
This isn't something I can feel the headache coming. And you ain't saying nothing. No, nothing matters, nothing new. You can touch me all you wanna. I ain't gonna try to stop you. But before you tell your parents, oh, there's something you should know. It's not nothing, but it's not something.
Hi everyone, good morning. Have I spoken to you today? I don't know, but I've been reading since I got up ish. I spent a couple of minutes on Instagram, but I am at I finished Dekada 70 last night. I think you saw me update my story graph, and it was an amazing book. It was a lot more subtle than I thought it was gonna be, and that was actually perfect. It wasn't that very caricature-ish depiction of the struggles of that time, but more of a very realistic look at how middle-class people experience that period in time. Yeah, I really loved it. I haven't rated it yet, but it's definitely gonna be high up there. And I'm just proud of myself for reading a book in Tagalog, and I'm gonna try and make that a monthly thing. But yeah, I finished Dekada 70 by Dualhati Bautista, and I started reading Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. I think a good thriller is just what I need to get into the momentum of more reading, especially since it is now 10 a.m. So I have about 7 hours left before the end of our 24-hour readathon. Right now I'm at page 40, can you even see? I'm at page 48 of Rock, Paper, Scissors, and this is a very popular thriller book. It's my first Alice Feeney, so I'm not familiar with her style at all, and so far it's okay. We have a couple that is going out to this very isolated chapel that was converted into like an Airbnb of some sort, and apparently this trip is sort of like the last hurrah to try and save their marriage, because they've been falling out for a long time, and they just can't seem to find the love that they used to have for each other. So this is kind of like a last ditch effort, but things are kind of suspicious. Like the things surrounding this trip are kind of suspicious, both from Adam and Amelia's sides. And then there's this other element of the owners of the house and this writer that Adam, who is a screenwriter, idolizes. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding it, and it's getting me super curious, which is what I wanted from a thriller. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading this after I feed my dogs, because it's 10 a.m. it's their breakfast time. I'm gonna feed my dogs, I'm gonna make myself some quick breakfast, and I'll get back into reading. Hi everyone, I haven't done a decent update clip since I woke up today, but that's just because I've been feeling kind of tired, and I've just been lying down in our couch just reading. So I'm still reading, but it's just not interesting enough to film. But I have made it to page 177, which is 56%. I can't even see it, but it's 56% of Rock, Paper, Scissors, and so far I've been quite hooked by it. The writing style, or I guess the way that it is structured, is that we're going kind of back and forth between present day and the past, but the past is told through letters written by Amelia, the wife, and through all of these letters and back and forth of the POVs, we sort of get crumbs of like secrets that they're hiding from each other, and just like things are starting to unravel, and I like how all the chapters are kind of connected by one small thing. Like maybe in the end of the letter she's going to say, I wish we're always this happy, but then the starting line of the next chapter, which is the present day, is that I've never, like, it's been a long time since I felt happy, or something like that. So there's like a thread connecting them all, and I really like it when authors write like that, because it makes each chapter flow beautifully, and it doesn't feel very jarring whenever we jump from past to present to a letter to different POVs. And I just really like that. Now, weird things are happening. I'm trying to formulate something in my head, like a theory. I don't have it all together yet, but I have some thoughts. Like, I'm not gonna say it out loud right now because it might be spoilery, but maybe around 75% mark, I'm gonna see if I have my theory down, and maybe I'll share it with you. And then I'll just put a spoiler tag on the screen. But yeah, so far it's all good. It's already 1:11 p.m. I'm gonna end the 24-hour reading vlog at 5 p.m. So I have about a little less than 4 hours. And I think I can finish the book, but I don't think I can get to the other book that I wanted to read, which was Idol Burning, which is sad because it's only like 134 pages. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get to it, but who knows? Who knows? Ooh, that was my chair. Who knows? So I'll get back to reading this. Hopefully I finish it soon. And I guess I'll update you once I'm closer to the final reveal plot twist. I swear to God, if something happens to the dog, to their dog. Oh my God, I'm at page 235. I thought it was you. Oh my God. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, I did not see any of this coming. What the fuck? What? I finished it. I finished reading Rock, Paper, Scissors, and it was quite crazy towards the end. What can I say about this? Honestly, I really like the lead up and the reveal, like the first, mic drop reveal, but all of the wrapping up chapters towards the end were just it was quite difficult to get through, because it was just okay, got it, you don't have to spell everything out for me. I don't know, it just didn't. I feel like sometimes it would be a lot better if thriller books just left things as is, not try to over explain everything that's happening, especially like after they do the big reveal or the big plot twist. You don't need to explain the joke, if that makes any sense, because I think that's what happened here. I was really intrigued when I found out the plot twist, and then I wanted to find out how Adam would react and how things would happen, but then I thought it would end at some point, but then they just kept going and explaining every single thing that happened. That last letter by the wife was just, I think it was unnecessary. But overall, I really did enjoy reading it. I did not expect what happened. I expected something along the lines of I thought it was you. I thought that was like a foreshadowing to something more sinister. It kind of gave me Behind Her Eyes flashback, and I was thinking, is that the twist? Is the twist similar to how it is in Behind Her Eyes? But just, a different take on it. But it wasn't. It was just okay. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad that I finished it with time to spare. So it is now 3:08. I still have 2 hours. So I think maybe I could actually get to like a big chunk of Idol Burning if I just start it now and just keep reading. So I think I'm gonna do that. This is just a book about a high school student who is obsessed with an idol, and what that means for when that idol that she's obsessed with isn't exactly that good of a person, and how she deals with that knowledge. I think that's what this is about. I really love the cover. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on this, and I'll update you once I have more idea on what it's all about.
Melanie looks a lot like Stephanie. She looks a lot like Jane, who looks a lot like Amy, who looks a lot like Emily. Melanie.
I just finished reading Idol Burning, a little bit over time, like around 5 minutes over 5 p.m., but I made it. I read a total of 4 books for this readathon, but I think I'm gonna take a nap first. My eyes are just so tired from reading since this morning. So I think I'm gonna take a nap first, and then maybe I'll recap everything tonight or maybe tomorrow, because I need to take a nap. So apparently I took a nap for half a year because it is now October and I'm just wrapping up this video. So apologies for this setup. I just wanna like do this now while I'm still editing and just close off the video. So in this readathon I read 4 books. First one is a graphic novel, Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. And then I read Dekada 70 by Lualhati Bautista. And then Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And finally, Idol Burning by Rin Asami. I know everything is like flip, but we'll just deal with that. Let's see. I am gonna pull up actually my story graph because I do not remember what I rated any of these books because it has been a while. So let me just. So the first book for Kindred, I rated that 3.75 stars. I really did enjoy that book, and I think the art style really works. Oh, what was that? Anyway, I think the art style really works in a sense that it really looks very hard hitting. It's very rough, which makes the difficult scene feel a lot heavier, which works for the story. But I think I want to read the novel because I feel like there is going to be a lot more nuance and a lot more deep dive into the very difficult topics that was discussed in the book. So definitely something to add to my TBR. That's Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. And then I read Dekada 70, which I gave 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed this book. This was written in Tagalog, which is my native language, but I don't really speak it fluently. Like, I can't speak straight Tagalog. I usually mix Tagalog and English. So it was really difficult for me to get into this book in the beginning, but once I hit my stride and actually read it during the reading sprints that I did when I was doing the readathon, I really enjoyed it. I feel like the writing style really worked well for the story because it was written in a very plain. Okay, I'm gonna turn off these effects because it's annoying me. Okay, it's written in a very plain way, which makes it easier to digest the difficult topics and it makes it a lot more relatable. So I'm super happy that I read this book, even though it did make me angry a lot of times just because of like the things that are happening in the book. And then I read Rock, Paper, Scissors, which I gave 3.75 stars. I kind of really enjoyed my time reading this book. There were like very crazy reveals that really like I did not see those coming, which I really enjoy. I didn't see it coming, but it also still made sense. So those are the kind of reveals that I really enjoy in thriller. Because if it's just like super random, then like it doesn't give me that satisfaction of following the breadcrumbs leading up to that like plot twist. But I think the chapters that came after the reveal really kind of like ruined it for me because they just kept on explaining what happened. I wish they didn't do that because then it would have been probably a much higher rating for me. But yeah, it's 3.75, mostly because I wasn't really a big fan of the characters, but the plot, the intrigue, everything else was definitely there. And lastly, I read Idol Burning by Reen. Oops. I read Idol Burning by Reen Asami. I gave this one 3.25 stars. I feel like this is such a short book, and I think I like what they were trying to do, what Rin Asami was trying to do with the narratives in the book, but I think it just fell short. There were a lot of topics in there. I thought it was just gonna go with this whole para social relationship. I almost said paranormal, but that's a different book apparently. But a parasocial relationship between an idol and a fan. I thought they were gonna go deep into that and really like talk about like how invested people can be, especially in today's climate of like K-pop and YouTube, even like having those parasocial relationships. I wish they stuck with that, but there were a lot of themes, like there were like mental health, like mental illness themes that I feel like they just brush every single like big topic and like throw it into this kind of absurd narrative that I think didn't really work. The book is very pretty, so there's that. So overall, I think it was quite a successful readathon. I think I read good books, whether that's for entertainment value or for like the actual content, and I'm very happy with this readathon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, even though I edited it so late. I'm trying to get back into booktube, so hopefully this just is a good sort of like easing my way into it. Let me know in the comments if you made it this far. Maybe put a candle emoji for idol burning. Just put like 3 candle emojis in the comments so I know that you got this far. And thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully not 6 months from now. So yeah, bye.